Hey everybody, Engine Doc back with you again. Got another engine to look at today. Got a little Briggs FH. And you may have seen it in videos past when I've been working on other things on the bench. It was sitting over here, back here in the background. It's been here for 3 years or better, 4 maybe. So it's a good little engine. It has got good, I just got it out here a while ago and took the plug out of it, and it's got spark. And the problem with it is on the carburetor, so this is a fairly common problem from what I understand. This piece is broken off the carburetor, and that's the butterfly shaft. And that piece has been broken since I got it. Matter of fact, when I got it home, after I bought the engine, I noticed that was broken. So I don't know if I broke it in transit or if it was broken before, but nonetheless, it's broken. And I wasn't going to do a video on this thing, but this is such a weird little carburetor. I'll show you what's going on with it. A few years ago, I picked up a replacement kit for it, and they do make these parts for it. But I broke it out of the box and took a look, and I thought, what in the world are these gears? It's geared. So let me show you what's going on in this little makeshift carburetor here on this old Briggs. It's kind of a weird deal. So we'll take a look at it here. All right, there's you look at the tag. I don't know if you can make anything out with this camera or not, but let's get this thing spun around here and just take you a little tour of the engine here. It's not in bad shape. Somebody's painted it. It looks pretty good, actually. Let me back the camera up just a little bit here so you can see it better. There we go. Rotate it around. Got a little air breather here. I guess that's a crankcase breather. This is a little choke here. Air intake tube. I don't have a muffler for it. I'll have to find one. I don't have an original. So, you know, if it runs, I'll see if I can find some kind of a muffler for it. But this is a little step pedal. I assume this was probably a washing machine engine. And it's got a little chain drive deal on it down here. And when you step down on it, the chain rolls around the flywheel here. And it does have spark. So that's good. That's the first thing I looked at. So let's get it around here where you can see it. And let me get into this carburetor. I've already had it partially apart. This tube comes off. It just sticks down in there with looks like some sealer, and that'll work fine. And this is the intake tube. Let me back you out again here. There you go. And that just sticks in the head up here, and you can pull it out like so. And I've already got the screws out of it. Let me reposition the camera and I'll show you inside this carburetor. Here's a good look at the carby. Originally, from what I understand, it was riveted together. This one's been apart before, so it had little screws in it, which is fine. That's what I'm going to put back in it. This is the check valve down here. I haven't been into here yet. I can't blow air through there, so I think it's plugged up. Fuel tank's in pretty good shape. But you take those rivets out if you've got rivets, or this one had screws. And this thing, let's see, how do I want to do this? It pops apart here. Yeah, like this. And there's the inside of it. And check this out. This part that's broken off, it connected there like that. And when these butterflies move, they're geared together and it moves both of them. And closes it for idle and then opens it up for fast speed. And We want to talk about a kind of a complicated little mess. But again, this was the early days. I don't know what year this was. If I figure it out, I'll put it in the comments. But here's the new parts. And it looks like you dump the old parts out, lay the new parts in there, and mesh the gears. Probably about like that, to where they completely rotate. Like so. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then I don't think there's any kind of sealer or a gasket or anything on here. There may have been some sealer, but I'm going to stick it back together and see how it works here. There's a couple of dowel pins you have to line up. And then this is the idle stop. So that's obviously full throttle and idle. If you look in there, I don't know if you can see it, but little butterflies seem to be working. So I'm probably going to take this apart and dab just a little bit of sealer on the two halves there, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I took it back apart. I want to check the fuel passage here. This is the mixture, and it was open one turn. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And it's got a really nice needle. Really good looking taper on it there. It's got a little spring loaded plunger here that keeps tension on the needle. That's good. You probably can't see that. And then there's the little tiny hole that feeds the fuel up through here. And if you can see, get a pointer, this is the venturi right here. So this hole is right in the center of the venturi where the air is moving quickest through there. So kind of a clever design. They went through a lot of work to build this. And of course, later years, of course, they were much, much simpler. So I'm gonna see if I can get this apart and find the check valve in there. And I'll do that over here off camera. I gotta go get it in a vise, so be right back. Okay, so actually I just took a pair of pliers and that popped right off. That's a friction fit. Well, if there ever was any trouble with air leaks and stuff, it's no wonder. There's nothing that's really sealed up. And if I look inside there, I don't know if you can see there or not, there's a ball in there. See if I can get it out of there. Well, yeah, it fell out. There it is, right there. Okay. So I'm going to run some carburetor cleaner up through here, make sure it blows out that hole, put this back together, and see what happens. Yep, I see it coming out. You may not be able to see it there, but I do see it coming through, so that's all clear. This looks good. Blow this out a little bit here. Then this end here is split, so if the ball would happen to suck up against there, it's not gonna close the passage. Well, I guess it's just a hope and a prayer that holds that thing on there. It does fit pretty tight if you jam it on there. And I can actually hear it. So that's good. So I think we're good there. And screw the needle back in. See if I can get it started. There it goes. Closed and open one turn is where it was at. That's a starting point. I'm not going to put any sealer on this. I'm just going to put it back together. You know, I don't think it's crucial. There wasn't anything in there. I'll just clean this up real good and stick it back together and mount it back up, and I'll bring you back here in a minute. Gonna be careful. That gear will slip until it's together, and then this stop will not let it go too far. Get it snapped onto the dowel pins again. Make sure I haven't changed the gear position. No, it looks fine. There it went. Okay. It feels like everything's good. Put the little bolts back in it here and bolt it back together and get it back on there. Well, I've got the bolts back in it, got the little nuts on it, and I've got airflow through here now, so I think it'll flow fuel. This seems to be fixed. So there's a linkage also right here. Well, that doesn't move much. So there was a spring on there, and this little linkage, I've got it up here somewhere. Here it is. I just happened to find it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this on there. And it's a little tricky getting everything together. So I'm going to put a little bit of sealer on this tube where it goes up in the top in the head. Got this goopy old sealer here I'm going to use. Just going to put just a little bit of it on there. It looks like that's what was on there before. And this has all got to kind of go together at once. It's got a little collar here. That goes up on there. I got to get that started in the head. Pull this out a little bit. And get everything together to start with. It's just a little fiddly. But there it went. And I'm going to put a little sealer on here too before I put this ring down on here. That ring just kind of holds everything together and squeezes it. I want to figure out how this little linkage goes here. Okay, I think I've got it here. This linkage goes back and forth horizontally, not vertically, of course. And I'm going to wait and get the engine running and see how that works, because it looks like the spring hooks into the small right there, and that holds that. Looks like it holds it open, and this is going to want to pull it closed. So let me get this on here. This is actually pretty clever. These rings tap down over the pipes here, and that actually pulls the carburetor together and pinches it onto the pipe. It's pretty cool. And there's a clamp here that goes on here and stabilizes both pipes. Try not to get in your way here. Oops. There we go. A little linkage is on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe you can there. There, it's working. Don't know if it's right or not. We'll find out. See if it'll run. Get a little fuel in it. It came on a little wooden skid. I'm going to put it back on there for stability. I'll do that off camera. Bring you back, see if it runs. Well, I got it mounted up on its little skid here. I'm going to choke it and crank it. Even got a kill button on it. Alright, thanks for watching. That one wasn't too bad. Kind of a one morning deal. Gotta go and I'll find I just put a piece of stub pipe in there for now. And I will find a muffler for it. And we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.